Behind the Shades.
I love this subject, especially speaking to a man point of view. And yeah, we don't buy broken products, but we get into relationship with broken people, right? And it's so powerful that we, again, women are mothers, right? I'm not saying men are not fathers, but we pick you up and we make you a baby and we want to cuddle you and we want to say it's okay, we'll fix your boo-boo, but we can't fix anybody's boo-boo. So we have to stop being nurses, mothers, and Mother Teresa's. We have to put self-worth and self-love for ourselves, right? To We can guide, but we cannot heal, right? I mean, I decided a few years ago when I got involved with self-development, especially Tony Robbins. It's a big deal for me. I'm in his group. I take his courses. I went and saw him live, and I said, we had to write, always, my business is great. I'm a business person. I know exactly what I'm doing. My problem is relationship, right? And they have to write a wish list. So I said, kind, loving, went through some stuff, self-development. I said, they must go to Tony Robbins, right? Because, the man that goes to the Tony Robbins or any of their self-development courses, he values his pain. He understands it. He wants to do better. He wants to be a better partner. He doesn't have to be a perfect partner, but knowing that he is seeking healing, right? It makes me want to help him heal more. And something, the society's fault. I'm going to tell you, we don't allow man to feel these feelings and emotions. What happens when a little boy falls? What do we tell him? You have to be strong. Boys don't cry. And, boys, are strong and your boob is nothing. We minimize that feeling and emotion, that pain. And then they become grown men. And we get that man that mom or dad keeps saying, oh, you're hurting, but you can't admit it because it does not make you strong. For me personally, when a man can cry, it shows me strength. But the society says he is weak and that man gets into a relationship, right? And he's afraid to show his feelings and emotions because he's been programmed to be strong and not able to share this feeling and emotions. And when I've gone on dates and they ask, what is a strong man to you? I said, the one that cries. And they're like, what? I'm like, yes, I want that from my partner. I want him to sit with me and say, this hurt me. What your words hurt me, right?
I would love for more men to be able to express and verbalize their emotions. And I think men do that in a way that sometimes doesn't get understood correctly. And I'll give you an example.
Please.
For me, what I like to do is I like to say, hey, this is a situation that upsets me, and here is why, right? And I think sometimes men, when we explain it that way, it doesn't come across as a big deal until it gets said maybe 2 or 3 times. Whereas if someone came and like, oh my God, they did this, you're like, whoa, are you all right? Like, you'll drop everything. So I think maybe the approach is a little bit different for men, at least some men. But I know for me, that's how I'd say, like, if Irene, for example, if you were doing something that bothered me, I say, hi, Irene, this is what is bothering me. Can we have a conversation? That should be treated the same way as if I came to you and I fell down to the ground and I started doing my Oscar-worthy performance, right? Of this big tears, this big dramatic orchestra in the background, everyone's playing on the harp, and you're like, whoa, this is like a big deal, right?
Absolutely agree. And then it all goes back to communication, right? Men and women communicate differently, right? And we are more emotional. I mean, there's some men, there's also emotional. So has to be balance, right? And when we come to a man like that, the Oscar-winning performance, they freak out. They don't know what to do with all of the emotions because I also feel they're not used to, they're not programmed. It's uncomfortable for a woman to come and go, oh my God, oh, my heart is broken. Oh, like communication is the key. And again, relationship takes time. We have to learn like love languages. I mean, there's so much I'm learning about that communication, what men needs, what women needs. I read a book many years ago, and it actually prolonged my marriage for a little while. Men are from Mars and women are from Venus. My second husband would come home and he needed that 30 minutes without me asking for anything. And I didn't understand it. And if I didn't read that book, it would be like really difficult for me, because I'm a communicator. I want to hug, I want to kiss, I want to sit next to you. My language is touch and affection, and my husband's language was I need space for a little bit, and then maybe I can come and chat with you. So it's called like the man's going to his cave. But I mean, I can't read minds, and he wasn't the best communicator, so I didn't understand it. But I understood, because it was important for me to learn how men communicate. So that was a chapter in the book, and I'm like, okay, go ahead, sit down. Here's your coffee. Here's your beer. I'll see you when you're ready. I didn't take it personally. Otherwise, you would feel ignored, right? So there's so much to learn. I mean, relationships. Look, you take two strangers, and you're trying to make this soup. I don't know. That takes a lot of ingredients, right? To taste good, right?
No, you're right, because you have two people who, in many cases, they don't know each other. It's not like they grew up with each other, like how it was maybe in our grandparents' age, where we're from the same town and you didn't really date anyone because you had to take the ferry, which cost you 5 cents, and you walk into town and you had to get the bread and the milk and all this stuff. Right now, it's like, I can be dating someone in a different city, in a different state or province, in some cases, a different country. So you don't really know the person, because there's a cultural difference. There's a differences in maybe the country that they're living in. Like some places you embrace, you say hello, you give a hug. Others shake hands, others kiss on both cheeks, right? It's totally different. And I think that is what's missing, because as children, we are taught how to walk, we are taught how to talk, but we're not taught how to walk accordingly and how to communicate, because communication is the biggest missing key, because not enough people say, hey, this is what I want, this is what I don't want. Can we make it work?
And it goes back to where we began. Boys are taught to be tough when they have a boo-boo, and the girl is like, oh my God, let me put a Band-Aid, let me kiss it. So we are taught from young age to be emotional, right? And then boys are taught to be tough. Imagine those two completely opposite feelings and emotions get together, and there's an Oscar-winning award show. I love that. Gonna use that. And then there is another Oscar-winning performance, silence, and keeping your emotions together. So you're taking two different human beings that were taught completely different to express their emotion, and we have to mesh. Man goes silent, a woman becomes dramatic. So, I mean, we have to be able to say to the girl, listen, it can be a little tough, it's okay. And for boys, we have to say, it's okay to feel the pain, and it's okay to cry. You are still incredibly strong and powerful. And you know what I mean? And we have to blend all of those together and kind of send a message to the new generation. It's okay, whatever you feel, it's okay. There's nothing wrong. There's not more feminine or masculine or whatever. It's feelings and emotions, and they are yours. And I think marriages, relationships, friendships will be much more successful if we can blend those things. But it has to be with the adult, right? It has to start from babies.